Hey Math Department, I just wanted to get on to School City and show you some quick step directions. I emailed everybody the directions you could find if you go to your email. When you're on email, here's your inbox, and that's where we typically go to. Instead of clicking on the search and searching for mail, you have groups over here. Everyone's a member of the math group, so you can click on that and find any emails that you've missed or you want to go back to from the entire math department. There's also SMHS Algebra 1, which I created. I hope to create this for every course in our school. So here's the directions that I sent out. You can always go back to there. If you want to email anyone else or the entire Algebra 1 math group, type SMHS Algebra 1, and that'll just send to everybody in our Algebra 1 group. So this is in your mailbox. Alright, if you want to get on the Aries, sign in. I'm signing in as Jose, just so you can see probably the same things that he sees. Click on School City, and it'll log into School City directly, so you don't have to go to the Santa Maria Joint Unified High School District website and click on Sign In Here. You can do it directly from Aries. It's pretty cool. So this is what you'll see. You can create a new assessment. We don't need to do this. One thing that you probably will use is print answer sheets if you want to do the multiple choice test and do answer sheets for all your students. Some of the questions or tests are only 2 or 3 questions, so printing an entire answer sheet for that for every student seems cumbersome when the students can just log in with their tablet and the data is automatically there, so there's no scanning bubble sheets. Ultimately, it'd be something that you'd probably want to do. I'm going to just show you real quick my assessments that I use for my classes. I guess I'm not. I'm logged in as, oh yes I am. I'm logged in as myself. So here's a CFA right here that we downloaded. So how do you get there? So here's Jose's. First thing you want to do is click on the bell. This was shared. I shared it with everybody in the department. So you can see there's all this English junk over here that we don't need. They said that they sent that to everybody purposely just to try it out in the beginning. I erased all mine, so if you notice that on my bell, there's nothing in there. So it just takes a few minutes to get it out of there. There's 2 assessments. The first one that I sent in September, actually I sent it in January, I believe. It was this one. The newest one I sent February 7th. So you click on the plus button, click Add to My Assessment, and it's going to ask what the name is. And that's where we want to type in SMHS Algebra 1 CFA. I already did that, and it goes from this file to your assessments folder. So when you get into your assessments folder, you're going to see it's probably going to be unpublished right here. Jose has already published one. He did the Chapter 8, the original test for Chapter 8. So you can see that it's published. There's a green light. We want the green light here so we can administer this to our students. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up we need to set this up for all of our students to take the test. So we're going to schedule students by course group, unless you have every class is Algebra 1. So you want to choose which classes you want to take the test. And obviously we only want our Algebra 1 students to take the test. So I click Next, and I'm going to go through each of these steps, which have already been done. Okay, so this is an item bank that we're going to use. So all the item banks, all the item questions are already in here. So we don't really need to worry about doing any of these things. We could just go next, 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 because all those things are pretty much in here. So here's the questions for our Chapter 8. The first question was linear equation. There's the answers already in there. So again, we could go next. It's going to ask for a summary. There's multiple choice. Please go through and make sure that the answers are correct and there's no typos. If you could, that'd be awesome. Go next, what's your performance level? So you could change these if you want. You could change the scores that are right in there if you want to. So if they met standard, you could change that to a 4 if you want. I want to keep all these the same so that way it's easy to compare. And the last step, we could also click up here. We could go to setup if we want. Okay, so these values are off. I don't know why. Let's change that to 70% is standard met. That's why it's not letting me go next. You can see that this is very sensitive, almost like programming. There's the files in here. Here's the dates that we're going to give the test. So we want to probably change the window. If you're going to give your test in April, the Chapter 8 test, then we'd want to change this date right over here. So we can just click on the folder and let's change the date. We can go on up till the end of the year. We're going to give the Chapter 8 test. Okay, so it changes the dates. Apply. You can do grade cam scoring. So if you have a document camera, you can just put them underneath the document camera and do that. Online scoring is the easiest because you don't have to print any answer sheets. These two, you have to print answer sheets for all your classes. Okay. So down here it says, what do you want to do with your answer sheet? You can do it by individual student, or you can do it under a class roster. The class roster, there's a little eye right here. You can click on that. This is what it will look like. It'll have the student's name, and it'll print one for every student that you have in your class. Class roster has all the students' names, and they just bubble in their name, write their name at the top, just like we used to do in EduSoft. An answer sheet printing date is today's date. So now I'm going to publish. So there's advanced settings. There's other things you can do, like give your students access to, you can change who you want to give the test to. There's online settings. We don't really need to change these things. You could give them a timer if you want to, if you're timing your test. You could randomize all the items. So if you're worried that students are going to go on and look at everybody else's tablet or whatever they're doing, it randomizes the items. That's pretty cool. You could also randomize answer choices. So again, prevent cheating. We could do that. There's the thermometer, which just tells them how far completed they are. We can give them some calculators. Most of our Algebra 1 tests, we don't really use calculators though. And there's other things that students can use. And as we get more familiar with this program, we'll use those things later on. So if I just click Save, online settings have been saved. So where is this at? This is in Assessments. If I click back on there, all right, we got a green light. So now what we need to do is, if you're going to print answer sheets, you can see how these are highlighted now. Down here, these are not highlighted, but up here they are. We could administer this online. We could print answer sheets now from here if you didn't print answer sheets previously. We just go over here and we can say, what do we want to do? Do we want grade cam sheets? And I'll ask, who do you want grade cam sheets for? You can choose all of those. Just click all the classes, like if you want to print answer sheets for everybody, just go there and click on print answer sheets, and it should pull up. I've selected 98 students for printing. Okay, and now we're trying to look for my printer. Okay, I don't want to print 98 sheets. It'll take you to another page to do some other things with that. So I want to do online administration. This has all of your students. Here's a list of all your students. And there's 2 pages of students. Jose has 98 students that he's going to give this Algebra 1 test to. Alright? So I want to activate all my students to take the test. So I click over here, and I'm going to activate all those students. And you can do this at any time for students to take the test. Now if they log in, they'll see the test being activated. So right here it says active, and as the students take the test, these numbers will start changing. It'll show you which problem they are on and when they finished the test, and over here it will show how long it took them to complete the test. If for some reason, which always seems to happen, there are glitches, if they get kicked off the Wi-Fi or something like that, then what you'll have to do is say this person, we want to inactivate them, one student inactivated, and they have different colors. So right now, that student right over here is gray, they're inactive, color-coded. The purple is active students. If somebody doesn't finish their test and the bell rings or they get called out and they never submit, then it'll show red, incomplete. And let's say a student comes in and we want them to complete the test, we can go up here and click submit score and other things. So what do the students see? When they get on here, if you're going to administer this online, your students need to go to SMHS School City, and they'll type in their 6-digit password and their password that they use just to log into computers. When they sign in, they'll only have basically one option, which is to take the test. And I'll show my students. I'll do a video later on of my students actually taking a test, so you can see how it goes, so you're not blind the first time when you do this. This is just a trial run for all of us, so we just want to get started on this. I'm just activating Jose's last student. And that's about it. Again, if you want written details, go to your email, Office 365, Algebra 1, and then there's all the directions written. Or go back and watch this video again. Alright, have a good day, everybody.